All right, this is a two-part question. First one, when are you going to release the deleted scenes for that movie? And the second one was that in your second version of this film, you spoke at length about the PNAC documents. Can you speak again about those, specifically content and authors?
As far as the deleted scenes, who knows? We deleted so much from this movie. Literally, our script at the end, this is a 2-hour and 9-minute picture. Our script ended up being, I believe, 115 pages. Our chop log was 121. So we had filmed probably 10 times this material. I'm going to try to release some of the interviews and stuff on my next picture, Fabled Enemies, which will be out at the end of August. The second question, Project for a New American Century. Project for a New American Century recently took down their website. They are a think tank of, I guess what you would call neo-conservatives. And this organization had people like Jeb Bush, Paul Wolfowitz, Dick Cheney, Don Rumsfeld, Dan Quayle, former vice president, William Crystal, head of the Weekly Standard, Fox News pundit. And they wrote up a document called Rebuilding America's Defenses in, I want to say it was July or August of 2000, about a year before the attacks. And in it, they basically laid out the groundwork of how they wanted to take over the entire Middle East. And they said that it would be a really long process unless they had a catalyzing and catastrophic event, such as the new Pearl Harbor. Now, that day, it was called the new Pearl Harbor by just about everybody. Paul Wolfowitz, who was one of the signatories on that document, was at West Point, go check this out on YouTube, July, right before the attacks, talking about courage and surprise. And he said, don't worry, you guys are going to be surprised. He brought up the new Pearl Harbor, the whole thing. I mean, just laid it all out, like what was going to happen. And then it happened. I'm not saying everybody at the Project for a New American Century is guilty of 9/11. What I am saying is this is a dangerous think tank group that puts things on paper in a process where they all talk about it, and then key players within are the ones that help carry out this attack. Dick Cheney should be indicted for his crimes on 9/11. You just saw that he gave a stand-down order for the Pentagon. I mean, that's how you do things. Everybody's always like, well, what do we do? Who's guilty? Well, Dick Cheney is definitely indictable. He's the first guy I would indict, and then you flesh the investigation out from there. I highly suspect that Wolfowitz was a before the part player. I mean, I find it very hard to believe that Donald Rumsfeld didn't know after the fact, but we're never going to know unless we hold open hearings where people with no agenda other than to find the truth get to ask the questions. And that's why I'm a big proponent, if we ever do get to reopen this again, not to allow an international tribunal. That's the worst idea ever. If we allow an international tribunal to come into this country, what we have left of the Constitution and Bill of Rights are gone, I guarantee it. We will be painted up like Nazis. We will no longer have our government or our military. It's true, we have to clean it up from within. And the only way I see us doing that is we put some of the family members that had to fight for literally over a year to even get a commission. Let them ask the questions. They're the ones that lost their family members. They're not going to sugarcoat it. They're the ones that said 70% of their questions weren't answered. So that's how I would like to go about it. And if you doubt me on this military tribunal thing internationally, just think to yourself, if what I'm saying is true, and you know, 3 young guys with little to no experience in any of this stuff can put together a movie like that, you don't think like nations in the United Nations know that this is an inside job? I mean, the president of Italy went public 4 months ago and said it's widely known within the intelligence community that 9/11 was a CIA Mossad op. You know, that's the ex-president of Italy. That's the guy that went public about Gladio, another false flag operation that we pulled off in Europe. So, I mean, when you have world leaders saying that and it's still being ignored, you better know that the only way to clean it up is from within. Anybody else? Oh, we got a couple more, all right.